The factory therefore became a target for Allied bombers, which in a series of raids in 1944 managed to destroy 3/4 of the plant. In the wreckage of Germany's post-war streets, Hitler's grandiose scheme for the people's car seemed to be of another age. The idea of a Volkswagen in every German garage was a remote fantasy from the mind of a dead dictator. But something strange was about to happen. The Allied forces occupying Germany needed reliable personal transport. Their own cars were in short supply and breakdowns were common. Part of the KDF factory still stood. A young British major, Ivan Hurst, was asked to look at the possibilities.
My initial brief was virtually zero, just to go to Wolfsburg and take charge of a factory, a derelict factory.
Hurst had to assess the condition of the wreckage and decide what was to be done.
Most of the machine tools were still around. They'd been moved into cellars against possible bombing, which of course in the event did happen. The big presses were there, and the press tools were there.
Hurst found a workforce in ex-German prisoners of war from the British prison camps.
Production of the Beetle really got going on a small scale, of course, but this was a time when no other manufacturer in Germany was producing cars at all. First got going in March 1946 at a rate of 1,000 cars a month, which was the limit set by the availability of materials.
The British Army placed an order for 20,000 cars. By the end of 1946, more than 7,500 Volkswagens had emerged from the factory. Hitler's people's car was on the Autobahn, fulfilling his specifications of speed and fuel consumption, but under very different circumstances from those he'd planned.
In 1947 was a time of complete change of the political climate. The Iron Curtain had come down, the Berlin airlift was on.
While Volkswagen and the rest of Europe coped with the Soviet blockade of Berlin, Major Hurst and his superior officer, Colonel Radcliffe, began to look for a German to take over the running of the expanding Volkswagen factory. Initially, they found this to be a very difficult task.
We looked around, asked around to the German Motor Industry Federation and to personal contacts, and found nobody who was prepared to take on the job.
Eventually, Heinz Nordhoff was appointed Volkswagen's general manager. In 1949, the ownership of Volkswagen was transferred to Germany. Nordhoff was taking on an immense challenge. The German economy was devastated, and Volkswagen had the potential to be one of the major tools for its reconstruction.